Yes, welcome one, welcome all, ladies and gentlemen, subs and grubs, and all you mothers goods in between. My name is Jack Cypher, and today on Russ1an Rascals, we have the vid you guys have been asking for a while. The Scorpion G in the SU-130 PM. Now, we're going to change it up a little bit. You might have seen based upon the thumbnail. We're not just doing those two tanks. We're also adding the RHM Borsig. And I'll drop you a little hint why. This video is not about gun performance. It's not whether about two different premiums are OP. It's about paper tank playstyles. And a little note before the video, do not forget to go and subscribe if you're not already subscribed to the channel, because we're trying to hit 100 subscribers. We're going to be rolling out a whole ton of stuff when we hit that live stream, merch, Patreon, all that different kind of shenanigans right when we hit 100 subscribers. And trust me, if you guys are in the Discord, you'll know when we hit it. Anyways, but yeah, we didn't really want to focus on the guns because everyone's focusing on the guns. It's like, well, Rascals, if you guys are focusing on the guns, where's the fun? Because we don't want to copy like Meadsteer or anyone else. So we decided to talk about the three different paper tanks, the main paper tanks of tier 8, and all three of them, sorry for that pause, I was thinking, all three of them have an interesting playstyle, and all three of them are different on their playstyle just based upon the slight differences. Personally, what I see, the biggest difference in playstyle for a paper tank of such sort, for the tank destroyers, height. That is literally the biggest difference I find. And so you're looking right now at Grendel175. Shout out to him. It took him lots of work to get us a Scorpion mastery, but he finally got it, and what a mastery it is. Great job, Grendel. Shout out to you. Thank you for providing with us.
I can't English.
Thank you for providing us with such great content. So we have a look at the Scorpion G. It's tall. That's one of the biggest key factors about the Scorp. It is tall. And so you have to hide your turret. Your turret is one of the most juiciest things on the tank. I think it has like 15 millimeters of armor. You have to hide your turret, but you also have to hide your hull because your hull hardly has any more armor. I find it interesting that this was based upon the Panther. The chassis was based off of the Panther design because the Panther has way more armor than this. And so it's kind of interesting to me. I think it'd be kind of cool to look into the schematics, but I like history, so that's just me. If you don't like it, well, too bad for you. You're gonna wipe him out. Not gonna get the kill. Oh well. But like I said, it's the height for me on the Scorpion G, but that is one of the biggest key factors about this tank, is being able to play really well with that tall height. To me, the Scorpion G and the M4A1 Rev have a whole ton in common. And now you may be thinking that's kind of weird because they're two completely different tanks, but their height and structure alone is just what gets me, and they're so similar in my opinion. Again, it's just my opinion. Great job, Grendel. And so now we're going to be switching over to the RHM, the next paper tank. Now this is a tier 8 German tank destroyer, one of the two that you can get. The other one's the J Panther 2, I believe. And this one is
absolute paper.
If you think the other ones are paper, this one is definitely paper. What I think is different about this one actually looks dinky. And this one is Ducky Momo 03 playing in this tank. Thank you for sending in your mastery, Ducky. And so this tank, if we were talking about the guns, this would not be a comparison because, well, this does have a 152 millimeter, and Ducky is running the Big Daddy Derp, but this got a nerf a while back, and what a nerf it was, because this is not even close to the hilarious tank that it used to be that everyone would always have whole tons of fun with. Like, this used to be a very, very good and competitive tank, and don't get me wrong, it still is a very good tank, but this used to be comparable, say, to the ISU-152. This is not comparable, except for the turret. This is not comparable to that anymore. Lovely HE shot. But still, we're not talking about ISUs. I'm just ranting on about Russian stuff because... Anyways, moving on. The height that I was telling you about earlier, look at this one. This is the smallest, the shortest of the 3 different tanks we're going to be talking about today, and that makes the difference. Ducky Momo sent us 2 different masteries, and we decided not to show the other one just because of how long it was. But the other one, he shows really well how you can tuck this thing into tiny little corners, and no one will shoot at you because they cannot hit you without you drawing them in and them getting entirely wrecked by your team. That's just how it works. But one of the best things that you can do in this, in which he doesn't really show in this, which is completely fine, is just tuck it. It's just a tuck and cover tank. And so that's one of the biggest defining factors between the Scorpion and the RHM is the height. And that is one of the biggest differences, is if you learn to use the height of these tanks, you will do monumentally more in your gameplay. And that's, you say that's a pretty bold statement, Jack. Yeah, yeah, that is a bold statement. I'll go by that statement too, because I know for a fact if your turret is sticking up where everyone can see it, you are going to get loaded, like it or not. It's going to happen. And so if you're able to just learn your gun handling and the defining factors of how well your tank works in certain different positions, the height and gun handling alone will save your tanker hind bacon in many certain situations. And so that's what Ducky does really well. This one is just a derp. It's just shoot and run. That's what this mastery was. But this mastery was quick, easy, and he does really, really well. We're already at 4.148k damage. That's really, really good. I think Ducky was typing in the chat right there. Excuse me. Sometimes for replays, the chat does not come through, and so we apologize for that. If you ever see someone just stopped, we don't know why that happens. So, got a bad HE shot right there, and he was returned with a comment below. I couldn't see if it was an HE shot or not, and being a bit too pushy right there. But one of the things that is also, I definitely would say is a massive downside for all 3 of these tanks. If an average heavy, German or Russians, Americans, they kind of have small guns, but if the average heavy shoots you with HE, you're sitting about half health. Ducky's been shot once in this game right by this guy in front of him. He's almost at half health. Great job, Ducky. That was a really, really good game. Thank you for sending that one in. Topped it off at 5.2k damage, I think it was. And so that's the thing. You don't want to get hit in these tanks. Now, I apologize for this replay being on the exact same map. We did not have any other SU-130 PMs. As you know, it's a brand new tank. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I am not dissing on anyone right here. I'm just going to say this up front. Grendel knows what he's doing. So, I'm not going to give any flack towards Grendel. But 2 heavies sitting right there. If you do not know when or how to pull out in any situation, do not pull up in front of 2 big heavies. Especially when you know there might be people shooting across the map, in which a medium did hit him from the side with HE. And so now he's down to a 1-shot. So we're going to be seeing good gameplay, but very careful and calculated gameplay. Stalin's going to guide that shell right in there. Now, if you look at this, just based upon the turret size alone, that's one of the most defining factors of the height of these tanks. The SU-130 PM, not as tall as the Scorpion, but it is taller than the RHM. So this one is good in between. And actually, when I see this tank, I think of a medium with no armor. That's what I think of. When I think of a Scorpion G, I think of a very tall, lightly armored medium. When I think of the RHM, I think of a derp daddy hippie wagon. Not even joking right there. That's what I think of. And then the SU-130 PM, I think of a paper armored medium. Just in some aspects. Don't get me wrong. It's all in my mind. But this tank, as you saw in the beginning, has such good mobility that it's crazy. And people argue Oh my word, the Scorpion G, the gun is so much better than the SU-130PM. Well, guess what the Scorpion doesn't have? Stalin. I'll just leave it that and I'll let you figure it out if you don't get it right now. Now, what we're going to see here in a second, and I don't even know if you can catch it, but Grendel's going to be very, 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 very lucky. We're not going to want to mess around with that Defender Mark 1, so we're going to tuck down here, and you'll actually see a plume of dirt rise near Grendel. You'll think, oh, that's the Force. No, that wasn't the Force. You saw that right there on the left. That was not the Force. That was not RNG, ladies and gentlemen. Someone missed, and luckily for Grendel, they did. So, all that aside, this tank, I'm going to hold to my opinion of the last video that we made. This tank is better than the Scorpion if you know how to play this right. The Scorpion is better than this tank if you know how to play the Scorpion right. It's an oxymoron, if you will. They can go either way. It's just what you're most comfortable with. Many YouTubers, I'm full of bold statements today, but many YouTubers will make ridiculous claims to tanks just based on facts alone. What YouTubers will not tell you, what almost no YouTubers will tell you, because Wargaming wants to sell tanks, obviously, and I'm not dissing on any YouTubers, don't get me wrong, but what YouTubers don't tell you is every tank is good based upon how you play in it. It doesn't matter. Okay, stats do matter, but every tank is good based upon whether you're good in it. And yes, granted, you can learn to be good in a new tank, or just one you happen to have researched, bought, won in a giveaway that Tyler Schofield gave you. Shout out, Ty. But it's all just based upon how you play. So when a YouTuber tells you, I would absolutely guarantee that you would love this tank, go out and buy it, don't listen. I'm being bold here. Don't listen. Think about the tanks you play. Think about what you're good at. Look at your stats. What are you good at? And then judge your purchase on that. That's all the defining factor is. And for these tanks, I think the Scorpion G and the SU-130PM, no matter what their stats say, I would say look at your gameplay. Listen to what I told you here just based upon how they can be played compared to other styles of tanks. And then base your judgment upon that if they ever come as a duo into the store, or a one or the other, whether you can buy one or the other. They keep giving them out in wonky ways, like with the Scorpion G lock boxes. And then, of course, the RHM, you can always just go research. And I encourage you to go do that because, as I've been informed, it is a very, very fun line. Now, onto the outro. One and all, ladies and gentlemen, subs and grubs and all you mothers goats in between, I thank you for staying here in Russ1an Rascals and listening to me rant about how these different tanks can be played. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. The more views for us, the better for us, and the better for you. Get all your friends to subscribe so we can hit 100 subscribers and we can show off our cool new tanks that we've been getting on our new account. Shout out to Union for hosting our new account for the channel, and we'll get that live stream and merch and all this different shenanigans to you. Join the Discord. Email and Discord link is below. Again, one and all, ladies and gentlemen, subs and grubs and all you motherless goats in between, my name is Jack Cypher, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.